So I'm going to Wales. Starting off the news this week, some incredibly exciting news from the Red Planet. For the first time ever, scientists think they have found evidence for liquid water on Mars. Water vapour has previously been detected in its atmosphere, and it is also already known that Mars holds great reserves of ice at its poles, but liquid water is a massive discovery. It hasn't been directly observed, but inferred from data gathered from seismic readings made by NASA's Mars InSight lander, which started taking measurements from our neighbour back in 2018. The InSight lander's mission was to study the depths of the Red Planet to learn more about its internal geology. Our direct knowledge of exoplanet geology is actually fairly minimal, and it's generally known as one of the areas that have a more pressing need of research. The InSight lander uses its onboard equipment to measure how fast seismic waves in Mars travel through the planet, and by doing this, they can work out what kind of material these waves are moving through. While it isn't a direct observation, it's not just a guess, and this is incredible evidence that NASA has discovered. As the study itself says, it has massive implications for a great deal of how we understand Mars and its history. It naturally sheds new light on how its water cycle works, how it used to work, and, excitingly, ever more potent questions about extinct or possibly extant life on Mars. And now in the recent animal news, at Dublin Zoo in Ireland, a male baby orangutan has been born, which is great news for these endangered animals. Unfortunately, the 19-year-old mother, called Mudger, has had 2 other babies which did not survive, as she doesn't seem to have the necessary maternal qualities. In a bid to help her develop her maternal skills, the zoo enlisted the help of 30 human mothers, who were breastfeeding, to come into the zoo and feed their infant in front of the pregnant Mudger. Orangutans mirror behaviour, so it was hoped that by watching the mothers, Mudger would then be able to feed her baby when it arrived. Sadly, this was not the case. Although Mudger was a great mother, kissing and cleaning him, she was not managing to place him in the correct position for breastfeeding. If humans have problems, then experts can help the mother position the baby correctly, but obviously this can't be done with an orangutan. Eventually, the zoo made the tough decision to bottle feed the baby orangutan, who is doing well and will soon be moved to a specialist institution for his long-term care. First up in the paleontology news this week is a fascinating paper describing a new species of prehistoric tardigrade, or water bear, that was discovered trapped in amber dating back to 72 to 84 million years ago, during the late Cretaceous period. Tardigrades are microscopic animals related to arthropods and velvet worms that are famous for their incredible ability to survive extreme environments, including the vacuum of space, by going into a kind of stasis known as cryptobiosis. They are found worldwide in all sorts of habitats. However, they unfortunately have a very poor fossil record, with just 4 known specimens of prehistoric crown group tardigrades, all of which are preserved in amber. 2 of these are known from the same piece of Canadian amber from the Cretaceous period, and while one was named Bjorn Legge back in 1964, the other was thought too poorly preserved to be scientifically described. However, advancements in imaging techniques have now allowed paleontologists to get a better look at this second tardigrade, and discovered that it's a new species which they now name Aerobius dactylus, meaning floating finger, referring to how the tardigrade's tiny clawed fingers are suspended in amber. They also redescribe the Bjorn Legge specimen, and together these preserved water bears add a significant fossil calibration point for investigators into the evolutionary history of these remarkable animals. Also in the paleo news, we have the very exciting announcement of the discovery of a new species of prehistoric walrus. While walruses today only inhabit the Arctic and subarctic, the prehistoric members of the walrus family were much more diverse and could also be found in temperate and tropical environments, and they also varied quite a lot in body size and feeding style. This new species has been named based on fossils found in the UK and in Belgium that had been thought to be from the extinct species Ontocetus emonsi. However, looking more closely at these particular bones, all of which are mandibles, paleontologists notice that they have some features resembling those of the modern walrus genus, Odobenus. As such, there is a good case here to name a new species, and so they've called it Ontocetus posti. This species lived between about 3.7 and 1.7 million years ago, and based on the similarities with the mandible of the modern walrus, it was also probably a specialised suction feeder of mollusks, suggesting they filled a similar ecological niche. However, Ontocetus and the modern walrus genus Odobenus would not have coexisted, as Odobenus only appeared in the North Atlantic long after Ontocetus died out. It's a very interesting study describing a fantastic new species and providing some wonderful insight into how these animals dispersed across the ancient planet. And finally for the news this week, a new species of dinosaur has been named as well. It's a new kind of sauropod dinosaur from the late Cretaceous of Argentinian Patagonia and would have lived between 99 to 97 million years ago. It was uncovered from the same formation that Giganotosaurus inhabited, and that's also the same formation that the new species of terrestrial croc with crushing teeth we reported on last week came from. The new sauropod has been named Campananeyen fragilissimus, and the title of the paper is absolutely great, starting with "They all floated in the Cretaceous," referring to the incredible complex of air spaces found within the bones of this dinosaur, as well as other sauropods. These air spaces would have been filled with networks of air sacs that made up parts of the animal's breathing system, making the giant dinosaurs much lighter, though probably not quite light enough to float away. Campananeyen is known from a partial skeleton, including the brain case, other pieces of skull, several vertebrae, bits of the hips, and a couple of toe claws. Campananeyen is a Rebbachisauride sauropod, a group also known from North America, Africa, and Europe, and the discovery of this new species adds further support to the hypothesis that this lineage of dinosaurs originated in South America before spreading to these other continents. Another wonderful dinosaur discovery. Well, that's it for this week's 7 Days of Science. I do hope you enjoyed, and, as always, we'll see you on Sunday.